Welcome to Bridging the Gap to Connections, the talk show, where we begin by sharing your stories and spotlighting your shine. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap to Connections. This is Wednesday, Words of Wisdom on the talk show, Monday through Friday, featuring at 6 p.m. Today's Words of Wisdom. I was having a discussion earlier and I continued it with someone else because it was just so important. And those two conversations today led me to what I wanted to say here on today's episode. Have you ever considered yourself like a piece of the puzzle in the tapestry of life? Here we are. Let's look at life as if it's a puzzle. And there's a little piece of everything everywhere. And the one completing piece to the puzzle of the life that you live is you. It's the things you choose, the things you do, why you do what you do, and how you do it. So let me tell you a little bit of a story. And maybe, just maybe, these words of wisdom you can take to heart. Or, if it doesn't work for you, you know what to do. You can discard. However, today, while I was talking to someone, I remembered a story of something I did. I posted a post a long time ago off of this situation as well. It was something I did several years back, probably in 2019. And what it was I had a family living with me in 2018. And with my family living with me, there was a lot of little kids running around. And in that, my nieces and nephews were notorious for being mischievous. They got into the cabinet or the closet where I stored all the games. And I had tons of board games, card games, puzzles, and different things that the kids could do for fun. Well, one day, one of the kids got that puzzle out and had puzzle pieces everywhere. I turned up the rooms, all the rooms in the house, because there were puzzle pieces strolled all throughout the house. And I figured, you know what? It looks like I gathered all of them. Well, let's fast forward. About 6 months later, after they moved, I decided to sit down and decided to build that puzzle, totally forgetting about the day. I went around cleaning up all of those pieces. We do these things every day when we're dealing with kids. Sometimes we just wrap it up and call it good and forget. Well, I had put that puzzle away and I thought, oh my gosh, this is the perfect time for me to put that puzzle together. The irony of that puzzle is I had every piece but one. And when I had gotten down to the end, I had remembered the story of how I had gathered those pieces from inside the couch, in the living room, in the bedroom, in the closet, down the hall. And I thought, which one or two of those pieces had been chewed on. I'm not sure whether or not one of the kids ate a puzzle piece, took it outside. Who knows what in the world actually happened to that puzzle piece. But at that moment, I was given an option. Well, I could sit here with a puzzle without a piece, or I could throw it away. One of the unique things about me is when I do something, I like to follow through. Follow through is a big deal for me. And when life hands me situations and circumstances that don't allow me to follow through, that can be absolutely overwhelming to me. And that moment was one of those moments. I was sitting and looking at a puzzle that was missing a piece, and there was no way for me to fix it. And all of that work and effort that I had put into it, I definitely didn't want to just throw it away. So I decided to create a solution. How do you create a solution in a situation where you have a missing puzzle piece? I happened to see a box on the counter that had little to no Sweet and Low in the box. I took that box and I flattened it out and I rubbed it on the puzzle that was already completed, creating the shape of the missing piece. I began quickly creating a solution. I was going to make a puzzle piece. I was going to become the solution to the problem and actually follow through. So with all the pieces, I sat there and glued each one together until I had built a stack that was perfectly the size of a puzzle piece. The back of the puzzle piece was obviously pink from the Sweet and Low box, but the front was white. I fitted it in, made sure that it fit. I popped it back out. I put it back in again, and I realized, wow, I have the perfect puzzle piece. But it still needed work. With anything in life, we have circumstances and situations. We can't just come up with an instant solution and it gets done. We can't go idea and finished. There's a process in between. So when I came to the problem, I created a solution. I was going to make this puzzle piece, and I began building the layers, which isn't that just such a great representation of our life? Everything comes in layers and situations. We're like onions, to say the least. You know, we have plenty of layers. But here I was building up this puzzle piece. I found it, I built it, I made it the right size. It fit perfectly. But now I just have a white piece in the middle. And I could have left it as just the white piece just because it filled the spot. You know, those are those moments in life where we just sort of phone it in. We just get it where it needs to go. We don't really put the efforts. We just get it to where it needs to go, right? Well, that wasn't how I wanted it. I wanted to be complete. So I sat there and I figured out how to scale the image up to the appropriate size. And I realized what it would actually entail. And I took paints and I began painting that piece to match that terrain. I had built a puzzle that looked like the world. And I realized in that moment when I was painting it and finalizing the details and putting the puzzle glue over the top to seal it in, I realized that sometimes in life, the world is missing a piece that makes it complete. Maybe today, with the story that I just shared, about taking and realizing that there was a missing piece in a puzzle that I began putting together, the solution of how to create another puzzle piece, and actually being so precise to paint it so that it looked exactly as it needed to look. Maybe today you can realize that you, just like myself, was the solution, that perfect puzzle piece that fits and completes the perfect image. Remember, who you are, what you do, and why you do it is absolutely important, and you definitely fit in somewhere. If today you don't feel like you fit in, remember, wait, continue to go forward, continue your follow through, and before you know it, you'll be exactly where you belong. That is today's episode on Bridging the Gap to Connections. Until tomorrow's show, have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.